Hey guy, email lead generation is still a big part of outward sales and campaigns and outreach. Now, one of the ways you can improve your cold email outreach is by generating as many of those emails that you send out into warm leads that you then nurture and turn into sales. There are two traditional ways of doing this. The sort of scattergun approach where we just email everyone and anyone we know, which in itself is a problem. And I'll talk about that a bit later on, how to target better. But essentially you're sending the same PDF or the same ebook or whatever the material is, you're sending the same copy of it to multiple businesses. And as we know, every business is different. Every business has different pain points. Every business has different priorities, different budgets for how they work and what stage they're at. So here's a way to do that at a much better scale. And that is to use an AI powered lead magnet. And essentially what that looks like is this. You've got an email, which in this case is further tailored to have the name of the person that you're sending this to. You have an email that has got a number of call outs related to them. We've done a bit of research on this company as well. So this email itself is not just your standardized template. It actually talks to the business owner in a way that they'll understand and resonate with. And then you have a call to action within the email that is, in this case, led to my Calendly. And then you've got a little bit about me. I'm hoping to create a connection and for this to resonate with the person at the other end that, hey, I'm a human being. I'm here to help you. Let's get in touch. And also here, I've got something that I thought is quite an interesting way of doing it. I have a voicemail and it's a tailored voicemail. So if the person's name in this company is John, the voicemail, it will say, hey, John, this is Bart. Just letting you know that in the attached PDF, you'll find information on how to improve your sales campaign. And that's it. And so this little voicemail is recorded in ElevenLabs using my cloned voice, and I've added this in. So the most important part of this email is the attachment. And this is where the AI-driven power comes in, right? So what you're looking at is essentially a PDF, 4-page presentation that is talking about automating social media. And how I've tailored this is you obviously got the name of the company this is going to, but here you have a fully automated competitor intelligence report. And how this works is this. The client who has received this or the lead that's received this has been paired up with their closest competitor, geographically speaking. So if this is a law firm, we've them up with another law firm that's very, very close to them. And so what this means is that when they read this, we're comparing social media results for both of them. And so the lead that gets this is going to see, oh, these are the guys around the corner from me. Now, in this case, the example is not the best example because they've actually got very, very similar numbers. But in most cases, you will have number of Google reviews won't be just before, there'll be 50 or 60. And the average Google star rating might be 5.0. And the number of 5-star reviews could be 30, 40. So then you see a very big difference. And then you can see how for Sterling Legal Group, for example, getting this sort of insights or information about the closest competitor could be, well, I need to do better. And so the whole premise of this outreach campaign for myself personally is to automate their social media. Because one of the ways that we can increase the amount of leads coming in and then conversely get the number of Google ratings increasing is to have more leads coming in and better quality leads, right? So we're focusing on better quality leads here. So this is something that Sterling Legal Group would receive. And as you can see, there's another call to action and it's fully tailored. So this email is what they would receive. Now, I'll show you how this is built because I think this is a really simple way of being able to automate something that all of us as business owners need to do. And that is to keep generating new leads and really focusing on the ones that are going to bring us the best outcomes. So here's how we do it. We're going to start with make.com and we're going to start with setting the business locations of where we like to scrape data on them from. So we're going to use Apify, which I'll get to in a second, as a scraping tool for publicly accessible information. But we're starting off with where is it that we're actually looking for these leads? So in this case, we've chosen the Sunshine Coast of Australia. The number of businesses scraped, you can have 2, 20, 200, 2,000. It's up to you, and it's limited by the API that we use and the cost as well. So I've just said, give me 2 legal firms. And Lloyd's, right? So then we're using an actor from Apify, which is called compass/crawler Google Places. Really, this just uses Google Maps. It puts a radius around, like we said, Sunshine Coast, and it's looking for lawyers. And we just said, give us 2. Now, normally I would get obviously more than 2, but as an example, you can set where we're looking for these clients or leads from, numbers of businesses to come back with, and then a few other things that we could change, right? So I've just kept it really simple in this example. And then we need to wait a little bit because some of these scrapers or axes, as they're called, can spend a little bit of time pulling all the information together. Now, when I say a bit of time, it could be anywhere from a minute through to 5 minutes, depending on how many names you're looking for. So I've always put a little 20-second wait here. You could extend it up to 60 seconds because it really needs to stop. The whole process needs to finish before you move on. So once you get all this basic information, we end up with something like this. This is Google Sheets, right? And I'll show you how we get to this. But in essence, you've got all of the legal names here. You've got the category, because not all lawyers are the same, right? There's different subcategories. Addresses, the city, the postcodes. This is really important. Their website, phone number, email address is down here, right? Keywords, all of these Google reviews that we're using in the presentation, if you remember, and then latitude and longitude. Now, to get all this, we're running a second scraper because we don't get all of the contact details with the first actor that we run. So this one uses the output from the first one and adds the missing details to it. So in essence, when we get to the Google Sheets stage, which is this page, this is what it'll look like. Now, obviously I've got more than 2 here because I've run this multiple times, but you get the idea. Now, once we get to this part, we are running a script, right? And you can run a script that you could create in Google. I'll show you how I've done. And this essentially cleans up the data, gets it ready, and pairs up these leads. So this is the raw data that we get in. Now, the script is here. And let me find it. And it looks something like this. So I'll just wait till that loads. But as that's loading, the script, when you run it, it cleans the data. So what it means is that, is there an email address? As you can see, this is in red, which means that there's no email address. So everything that doesn't have an email address, which obviously we need because we're emailing this, is going to be red. But then you also see what it does is it pairs up these lawyers in this case by their address. So this is the first pairing, second pairing, third pairing, and how it does it, it looks at the latitude, longitude, or the address, and pairs them up according to also their subcategory, or as best as it can. And this is what it looks like. I'm happy to share this if you like. Just let me know. There's a number of functions within this, but essentially it just cleans everything up, it pairs it up, puts in missing data. So it's clever enough to say, okay, I'm missing an address here, but then if I go over here, I've got the latitude and longitude. Well, I can find the address based on these 2 coordinates. So once you've got this ready, the other thing that the script does is it gets the first pairing ready to go. In other words, ready for part 2 to run, which is the first company's details and the second company's details, right? So all of this from column A to column J is the information that we're going to populate the Google Sheets with, and then everything from K to the rest is the competitor, right? In this case. So part 2 looks like this. We get this pairing that's ready to go from Google Sheets. We run it through Perplexity, and then this is connected. Don't worry about this. This is an experiment I ran, but this is connected through to Google Slides, or it should be connected to Google Slides. And then the way that it works is Google Slides then creates this, which is what you saw. It creates the actual competitor intelligence report using a bit of AI, which is where this stage comes in. And then it creates the voicemail, which is this stage at ElevenLabs. We have to upload the MP3 file before we can attach it to Cloudinary. And then we create the email, which you saw, and which looks like this. So everything from end to end runs in about 3 minutes, I would say, depending on how many leads we're looking for. And hopefully the way that this works for you is that you start receiving more interest in the leads that you're sending this sort of tailored information to. Now, it doesn't have to be an email. It doesn't have to be a static email like this. It could just as well be a video that we send a link to. You know, now with VO3, which is a new video generation tool, you can really create a lot of things that you want to get your potential clients interested in. So hopefully this has been of help. If AI lead magnets is something you're interested in, get in touch. I'm happy to show you how I built this. And yeah, all the best. Till next time. Cheers. Bye.